Lee Summit is your destination for big city vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. I'm Laura, and this is your flash briefing for the week of May 12th. City Council meet for regular session Tuesday night, 6 in Council Chambers and City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watched live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. Celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Lee Summit Fire Department at a fun-filled open house on May 17th from 9 a.m. to noon at Fire Station Number 2, located at 2000 Northeast Rice Road. Bring the whole family to tour the fire station and walk through an inflatable house to learn about fire safety. Don't miss this opportunity to honor their legacy and join the celebration. The first summer concert at Rock the Amp has been booked. Grab your tickets to see Foo Fighters, a tribute to Foo Fighters on May 31st at 7 p.m. at the Legacy Park Amphitheater. They are a highly sought-after act known for delivering an authentic live experience. Get tickets at rocktheamp.net. And sign up for LS Aware, the city's free mass notification system. It can alert residents about a variety of events, ranging from severe weather and other emergencies to more routine announcements such as road closures and water utility maintenance. Messages will be sent to residents on their preferred communication device. You choose how to be notified. Learn more at lsaware.net. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Officers en route, 914, armed robbery.
I'm Assistant Chief Jim Eden.
And I'm Battalion Chief Ben Hicks.
And today we're at Lee Summit Fire Station 3. Fire Station 3 was part of the 2016 no tax increase general obligation bond for public safety initiatives. The station was built and occupied in August of 2020. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we've not been able to give tours or have an actual ribbon cutting. So we want to invite you in today to give you the opportunity to see what goes on within a Lee Summit Fire Department station.
Let's go take a tour.
This is our admin side of the facility. We use this side mainly for offices. We have a lot of work during the day, whether it's training or doing reports or just generally taking care of the shift that we need to do. At this particular station, Station 3, we do have an assistant chief that works out of here. That person has their own office where they need to manage what's going on throughout the day with the shift and staffing, and as well as running calls out of here. The captain has their own office as well. What the captain does is at this specific station is in charge of both the fire truck that's here as well as the ambulance. And so with all those personnel responsibilities as well as running calls and reports, that's where they work out of. And generally for the rest of the crew, which is somewhere around 5 to 6 individuals, we have rooms to write reports, and we have additional training rooms and other rooms where people can work. Walking into our living area, I think it's important to recognize that we work 48-hour shifts. So in the evenings, after 5 o'clock, after work is done, we may have the opportunity to catch a game or something else as long as we're not running calls. And this gives us the opportunity to do that. When we go into our kitchen, I think this gives you a great reason to know why we go to the grocery store. When you see fire trucks at the grocery store, what we're doing. Well, so for 2 days working for 48 hours, we buy all our meals at the grocery store, and then we come in here and cook, just like you guys do at home. So everybody has their own fridge on each shift, as well as their own pantry, and then we cook those meals here. Going into the sleeping side of things, we've got a couple different things that are significant. We have our own laundry room, which again is important when we're here for 48 hours. The opportunity to wash and clean our clothes and bedding is very important for hygiene. And walking into where our beds are, we keep the kind of sleeping quarters over on one side of the building. It gives us both easy access out to where our fire apparatus are, as well as kind of keeping it a little bit quieter for those people that have been up all night running calls. We have 11 bedrooms here at this station. And the reason we built it with so many bedrooms is we want to give ourselves as a city the opportunity to expand. So if we need to put another apparatus here or numerous other people working at this station, that's already in place as far as infrastructure goes, and we don't need to go back and try to make it bigger or better. And that's really important for us, especially because the old station was so small. Back out on the apparatus floor, we have doors facilitated as many places as possible, so that way when we're sleeping at night and a call comes out, we can make our way out fairly quickly to get out onto the truck if we need to and run a call. On the other side of the station, we kind of have other stuff that we may want to keep separated if we want to. Physical fitness is very important to us as firefighters. So in order to better ourselves and make sure we're as healthy as we can to do this job, we have our own gym facility here that we kind of go throughout the day when we can and get an opportunity to come in and work out. Our goal when we run calls, when we get back to the station after calls, our goal is to get ready to go back as soon as we can to run another call. So we have the opportunity or capability here to fill up our air tanks. You see firefighters wear the big air tanks on their backs and they use those in a fire. We can come back and fill those up and make sure that we're ready to go again when we're wanting to go run another call. We have our own workshop here. We work on a lot of our tools and making sure that everything's clean and operational, and this gives us the capability to do that, again, to make sure that we have everything we need and we're as capable as we can be running calls throughout the city. Cancer prevention is very important in the fire service right now. Because of that, we have an extractor machine, and what this does is gives us the capability when we come back from a fire, we can put our bunker gear into this machine and get all that really nasty crud off of our gear. Again, kind of getting back to that cancer prevention mode, allowing us to be as clean as we possibly can for the next call. And finally is our bunker gear room. We each have our own individual locker. This gives us the opportunity to store our gear when we're not here working in between shifts, as well as keep a clean extra set on here in case we do run a fire and we need to clean our current gear. Typically, this is where your day starts off at the fire station. You come in and get your gear and put it on wherever you're working that day, and then you end the same way, bring your stuff back to your locker to go home after working. This is Med 3. This ambulance just currently moved into the station from Station 7. Station 3, since we've had it built, has turned into one of our busiest stations in the city. Therefore, we wanted to provide the best care and the closest unit as we could. So we moved one of our ambulances up, and this became Med 3 for this particular instance. Out of this station, we also have Pumper 3. And that's a fire apparatus that they utilize to run the calls on this west end of the city. The last vehicle that you see is the chief's vehicle. We have 2 shift chiefs on shift every day, and they split the city. And this chief running out of this station typically covers the west and south area of the city, while our chief of Station 2 covers kind of that northeast section of our city, and they divide it up evenly.
Thank you for going on a tour with us today. If you have any other questions about the Lee Summit Fire Department, please go to our webpage at lsfire.net or follow us on Facebook at Lee Summit Fire Department.
Thanks for joining us on the tour.
I really love living in our historic downtown. I walk my dog around. The shops take her for, they do pub cups at Poppy's, so you can get ice cream with a little dog biscuit in it, which is her favorite thing in the world. My neighbors, we have block parties together. I really like how welcoming and how vibrant it is. It's an amazing place to live. Lee Summit's a really great community. I love living here, and I just wanted to try to find a way to give back. look out for my neighbors, for the community. I've always tried to be involved. Before serving on City Council, I used to volunteer with AFS, which is an organization that hosts foreign exchange students. So my husband and I have hosted kids from around the world and then also volunteered with local families and schools. In my professional life, I'm a paralegal, and then in my personal life, I enjoy reading, sewing. I'm a quilter, so I just finished a log cabin quilt that I'm going to send to my aunt out in DC. I can't claim any of our council accomplishments for myself. This is always a team effort. But I am really excited about the farmers market and event space that we have coming in. It's still in the design phases, but I think it's going to be a really beautiful space, and it's going to really continue keeping our downtown thriving. It's been in progress for a long time, but I think that people are going to really love it when it's done. I think one of my top priorities is going to be attainable housing. That, for example, I've been trying to find a place for my mom in Lee Summit. It's really challenging finding something that really works for a retiree who doesn't have a huge budget. Just trying to make it more attainable for people no matter where they're at in their lives to be a part of our community. Community is what we make it. Everybody should get involved in whatever way they can, whether that's just voting or whether it's joining a board or a commission or even running for office. What do they say? The world is run by those who show up. So get involved however you can and make a difference in the community.
'25 Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Funk,
Present.
Mayor Baird,
Here.
Chairperson Lovell, as he's running back, and Councilmember Pryor.
Here.
All right, that'll take us to approval of the agenda. I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes, please.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, we got a motion to approve the agenda by Councilmember Pryor and a second by, I'm going to give that one to Mayor Baird. He was just a little quicker than Donnie. Can I get a roll call vote?
Chairperson Lovell,
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor,
Aye.
Councilmember Funk,
Aye.
Mayor Baird.
All right, do we have any public comments?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, that will take us right into business. So we'll go to 2025-6855, approval of the March 10, 2025 Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee action letter. I would look for a motion here.
I'm sorry, Chair, you may have the wrong date. Do you have the correct?
Oh, I do. I am looking at the wrong date.
April 14, 2025,
Yeah.
LIRC action letter.
Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong agenda too. Hold on just a second. Last month.
Do you want me to go ahead and make a motion for approval?
Sure.
Chair, I would like to approve the April 14th, 2025 action letter.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the action letter by Councilmember Pryor, second by Mayor Baird. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Baird.
Aye.
Chairperson Lovell,
Aye.
Councilperson Pryor,
Aye.
and Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
All right, that takes us to, these glasses. Discussion update from the lobbyist. And I'm assuming, is that based off of they're not with us today, are they? This would just be based off of the email that we got from them?
Yeah, and I have on Mondays, I have a 9 o'clock meeting with them. So we go over kind of after action and then what they see coming for the next week. So I had some discussion with them today, and really only kind of one thing came out of that, but I do want to let you all know a little bit about how the session wraps up, what the important deadlines and dates and things are that are coming up. As I sent out to the entire council on Friday, House Bill 105, which is the bill that included the land transfer that we needed in order to do the 291 North project, 291 and 50 project. It passed through the Senate on late Thursday. So it has now been sent to the governor. Also, the deadline for the legislature to finish the budget was last Friday. They did, just kind of last minute, as they always do. And as you know, we had a couple of appropriations in House Bill 8 that were approved. They were both for the Joint Operations Facility. There was one which was $1.5 million appropriation, and the other was a $2 million appropriation. So at this point, we just simply have to wait and see if the governor happens to line item anything out. Hopefully not. I know our lobbyists are going to be very active in talking with the governor's staff and trying to make sure that if they have any questions about those items, that we get them answered before any kind of veto could occur, so that we optimize our chances of those two items continuing on through and becoming law. There's one other bill we're watching right now that actually has some good provisions. We have a lot of issues with data miners, people who they use the Sunshine Law to get information about people's utilities. And we get them from all over the country. We get these large data requests. And House Bill 145 would provide some protection for that, so that all of the information about your utilities and mine and everyone else's are not just available freely to these data miners. They use these for marketing, and they glean information from them, and they make money off of your information. So this particular bill started in the House, went over to the Senate. It was modified somewhat in the Senate, and it has been sent back to the House. Apparently it's still moving, so this one may go ahead and become law by the end of the week. It also includes some changes to protect the information of minors surrounding parks. Like if the Parks Department has information about younger kids, like through our Camp Summit and that kind of thing, that information could also be protected. So there are some good elements to this one, and really I didn't see anything that was negative in that bill. It seemed like it was a pretty good bill, and it seems like it's one that people largely agree on. So that's a good thing. So I guess from there, that's really all of the legislative items that I had for you. It does appear that the legislature is there's going to be a lot of bickering this week, is what our lobbyist basically said. They had other choice words for it. In fact, one of them said, "This is going to be an obnoxious week." So I'm glad all of our stuff has gotten done when it did, and we're not waiting on something to kind of come flying in at the last minute. But with that, I'll stop and see if you have any questions that I may be able to answer about the report. I did go through it with them this morning, but I may not have a lot of detail. I can ask and make sure that we get the questions, though.
Any questions out there? Ms. Pryor?
Thank you. Okay, so this morning, Carrie Engel posted. Well, no, okay, so it was somebody else, but it was something that Carrie Engel had explained, that House Republicans killed on Friday for the Kansas City region, Missouri Highway Patrol Station, Lee Summit, $800,000. What exactly is that was killed?
I don't know. I don't think, unless it was something that was going to the Highway Patrol.
So it says, Rediscover Mental Health, Lee Summit, $5 million, Kansas City Mental Health Hospital, $50 million, Kansas City Dental School Extension, $7 million, Delano Youth Housing, $1 million, Starlight Theaters, $5 million. This doesn't include funding. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I know on Friday, Faith had sent me a screenshot of Senator Bratton's post about $50 million in vouchers for private schools. And so it's, whatever this is, it's on the same bill as that. I just didn't know. Okay. So $50 million was approved for vouchers secured for private schools. $19 million in funding to the McDonald County Park in somebody's district. But I didn't know if you knew anything about that bill.
So the only thing that I can think of that was in front of the legislature this year related to the Highway Patrol, other than our land transfer bill, was they had not built into their funding, or maybe they had, but the price had gone up so much on the new facility that they had not built in their shooting range, or they didn't have the funding for that, and they were asking for additional funding. I don't know that that's what this is, but I can sure find out.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't affecting anything that we were doing or had done.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Ours was the land transfer related to the Highway Patrol property. We didn't have any funding in that. The funding that we had was for the Joint Operations Facility.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Yeah, on that note, Mr. Head, I remember that was Governor Parsons that had line itemed out, I think, the shooting range or whatever on the Missouri Highway Patrol. So I'm not sure if that's related or not. I would be interested in learning more about if maybe our lobbyists could get us some information on the $50 million of that. I had heard about that too. Just maybe some more detail as to what that looks like. And my guess is, Mia, were those items that were being cut to end up funding the $50 million, like Starlight Theater, our tax dollars going to Starlight Theater, or do you know what?
Well, so I'm not sure. It had passed through Senate and it had gone to the House, and then House leadership, for whatever reason, it's been called a power grab. House leadership did not pass the bill that Senate Republicans and Democrats had passed. So,
well, maybe Mr. Head, if you could just get an update from our lobbyists, just what the story is with that. I know I've got a lot of constituents interested, and many of us that send our kids to private schools in Lee Summit. You know, I think there's some interest in what's going on with that.
Chair, if I might, Brian, it's House Bill 19.
Okay. I'll look at it.
It looks like there were a bunch of amendments and earmarks added, and so they made.
Yeah, that's not one that we have on our reporting, but I'll find out from the guys.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Head or potentially our lobbyist? Awful quiet, Mr. Mayor. I know you've got something cooking over there.
I mean, I've been watching all of it. It's going better, but it doesn't mean it can't get derailed here.
Right. Do we know when the governor would make a decision on that funding, like whether it gets vetoed or it gets through? Like, is there a timeline on that?
There is. Actually, all budget bills have to be either vetoed or approved by June the 30th, by the end of the day on June the 30th.
And would our lobbyists be, would they have any idea, like, if, hey, this isn't looking good, we need to do some things, or do they have any idea of do they start kind of leaking the direction they plan on going, and then you start getting some jockeying and some for position, or how does that work?
Well, what typically happens is you don't necessarily hear very much out of the governor's office directly, but I know our lobbyists have got some contacts, so they have already reached out and they are talking with staff members to make sure that they're aware that we're available to, answer any questions if the governor's thinking about vetoing any of our bills. To please ask the questions first so you can understand what this is for and those kinds of things. So they've already reached out to the governor's staff to make sure that they know that we're fully available to them, in hopes that they will reach out if they have questions, and they won't just veto it without asking the questions. So you don't always hear anything out. Sometimes, I mean, I've seen it before where we thought everything was good. The governor's staff, this was a few years ago with Governor Parsons, even thought everything was fine. And then when the bill, ended up coming out, one of our items had been vetoed. So you don't always know. But I know Zach and John are working very actively, very proactively to try to make sure they know that we're available to answer questions and explain what it's for and so on. So, hopefully we will know if they're thinking about veto and we can head it off, but I can't promise that. Sometimes they don't tell us, they don't want to know.
Great. Anybody else have anything?
Well, as far as timing, to finish the answer to the question, so all other bills have to be vetoed, signed, or allowed to go into law. If the governor simply doesn't sign a bill, it becomes law on the 14th of July. That's the last day. So the governor actually has to veto it in order for it not to be approved. So veto, sign, or just not take any action on, in which case it still becomes law by the 14th. I would like to have our lobbyists come, because I think, and I didn't look at the calendar, but I think we're still having our July meetings on the normal dates. Is that correct? I would like for them to come on July the 15th, so it would be the day after, and we have a council meeting that day to provide their in-person report. It's one of the things that we have in the contract is that they do an in-person report at the end of the session, and work with Mayor and Mr. Dunning to try to schedule that in. But it would be their after action report, and it would fall immediately after that last day for signing. We would know then what had been vetoed or what had become law.
Sounds good to me. Anyone else? Not seeing anything there. Roundtable? Anything in Roundtable? All right. Quick and painless. I will adjourn this meeting at 11:47. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr.